All right, we're live from the PGA Show floor. Alex with the Course Life podcast. Excited to have our next guest joining us. He's got some really cool processes, accolades, credits to his name in the country music world, and he's got a golf connection as well, too. Excited to have Mitch Rossell on the Course Life. Mitch, thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's good to have you here. Good to see that you're doing well. I know you had a little quick health scare during the PGA Show week, but just maybe one of those moments to just kind of reevaluate, say, you know, man, life's okay. I'm here, walking, breathing, talking.
Yeah, I tell you, man, it was crazy. I still don't know what caused it, and feel a lot better today for sure.
Awesome.
Not 100%, but getting there. So
nice, good to hear, man. Let's talk about golf and your connection. First off, have you been to the show before? Do you have
I have not, man. This is when I found I was going to get to do this. My buddy has a booth, and he's having me play a little set over here, like a happy hour thing, and I was like, dude, count me in. You ain't got to pay me for this. I'll come down here and just look around because this is heaven for me.
Comic-Con, Disney World for golfers, all rolled into one.
Exactly.
Festival as well.
Yeah.
My first my first show was last year. It was a little bit trimmed down because of the way things were, but
sure.
This year we're back to full capacity. This is the real deal that you're seeing right here.
Yeah,
so
it's legit, man.
It's just impressive to see what everyone's got in terms of equipment, fashion. The game's really trending.
Yeah, it is.
In terms of golf, earliest memories for you golfing growing up as a kid?
Yeah, so my grandfather is the one who got me into golf. I think when I was about maybe 10 or 11, somewhere around in there. He tried to get me into it, and I just didn't have the patience for it. You know, I played every other sport, and it was so natural to me, and golf was too. But even when golf is natural to you, it's still the hardest game in the world.
Oh yeah, I've been working at it 25 years, and I haven't gotten too far. So.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, man, it is such a hard game, and it's like the other sports were so gratifying because I was good at them, and you know, golf I was decent, but you know, it just takes a lot of work. So it wasn't as fun when you were a little kid, and then thankfully I got back into it later around 14 or 15.
Random golf question for you: check yes or no music on the golf course. What do you think?
For me, no.
Yeah,
it's
but 50-50.
I'm not saying no, like you shouldn't do it. Yeah. I'm just saying it's what I do for a living. So I go play golf to get away from that, not to listen to more of it. So that's the only reason for me. But
Mitch Rossell here joining us.
Yeah,
that's the good perspective answer we needed for sure. Tell me, musically for you, was it always you yourself and an acoustic guitar? What was the music genesis for you growing up, and how did you get your sound to where it is today?
You know, me and an acoustic guitar is definitely a big part of my journey and a big part of my story, and still is. You know, but I didn't start playing until pretty late. It was right before college when I picked up a guitar.
Oh, okay.
So I was pretty late to the game, and so yeah, I got pretty comfortable with the guitar because I did a lot of shows early on. When I came to Nashville, I played downtown for tips, and I ended up getting on a lot of shifts that were just acoustic shifts. So I got really comfortable doing that.
So the Thursday, Friday afternoons at the bar, you know.
Yeah, a lot of those. Yeah, and I did Friday, Saturday nights as well, but it was 6 to 10, and the bar I ended up playing at a lot. It was still like a trio acoustic thing. It was me and two other guys, and we just alternated songs.
Very cool. So we'll get to the elephant in the room, which is your connection to Garth Brooks. But I'm curious, the steps that maybe you got right before the process of getting in contact with Garth, that growth in your music career. Where did you kind of start to see the building blocks building on top of each other? Yeah,
I think just the time you put in, the energy you put in. It's just like anything else. You know, for me, I was never this crazy talented dude or anything. I just had worked really hard and wrote a lot of songs and threw all of them away and started over and wrote better songs and threw those away and just worked on the process, kind of like the game of golf. You know, if you want to be good, you have to put in the time and you have to really dedicate yourself to becoming proficient at it. And so that's what I tried to do.
Definitely.
And could feel it kind of always getting better. And, you just wait for that break, and keep trying to put yourself in good positions.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I mentioned the name Garth Brooks and country music. It's like, geez, okay. Yeah. Jordan basketball, like Tiger Woods and golf.
Exactly.
Like, okay, great. So how did that come to be? What was the first interaction, or how did you first come across Garth?
Yeah. Crazy enough. A lot of people can't believe this, but I just sent him a blind email. I got a hold of an email address he was using to have songs pitched to him from all the publishers in Nashville. And I got a hold of that email and I sent him 4 songs and just said, "Hey, man."
Who's that friend who got you that email, man?
Well, it was a guy that was working with me at the time, and his name was Josh, and
nice.
It was his wife that got the email. So it's kind of a long story, but yeah. So got that email address and sent him 4 songs, and for whatever reason, he just dug it. So
that's the way the world works, man. I sent some emails, and that's how I got to interview Mitch right here on the PGA Show floor. So the world works through communication.
Lot smaller achievement though for me. Garth Brooks, I was like, I can't believe the guy even checks his email. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, right? That
it's just funny to think. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
So I guess let's go the steps with Garth, getting the chance to write for him. I guess what was that, probably the start of the genesis, and what was that process like when you're first able to get into
it was kind of an accident. The first cut I got, it was not. I wrote it by myself, and it wasn't like I was trying to write a Garth song. It was I just wrote a song that I loved, and so that's the first cut that I got with Garth. And then the next few were ones that I wrote with him, which was just an amazing process to get to sit down with a guy that literally, I mean, is country music. You know, he's the GOAT. So pretty surreal.
How about his process in the studio? What's it like to you? How would you describe it?
It's he's very patient. Very patient. I got to play acoustic guitar on Ask Me How I Know, actually, my first single with him. And I played the intro lick and all that on it. And so I got to be in the band and experience it. It was about a 14-hour day, and we just kept doing it over and over, you know, and we'd take a break, go grab some lunch, whatever, and just kept living with it and kept, you know, trying to find the magic, you know.
It's always interesting to hear about his level of grind for the spot in his career he's at. The amount of shows he plays, in addition to hearing he's doing 14-hour studio sessions as well, still now.
Dude,
everything he's done.
He's not human. The guy's he's an absolute machine. I don't know how he does it. Like, I can't keep up with him, and I mean, he's like twice my age.
Well, he asked you to keep up with him. I mean, going on tour with Garth, like, you know, that obviously blossomed from the relationship, but what was that like, getting that first experience to go on the road with him?
Dude, surreal. Yeah, I use that word a lot because it's just, you know, you say, I want to live a dream, but I've literally gotten to live a fantasy. I mean, Garth Brooks was my favorite artist of all time when I moved to town, and would never even imagine I got to meet the guy, nonetheless become a buddy.
Right. Maybe
and tour with him.
One day
like shake his hand, or not even that. I mean, like just shake his hand somewhere, you know, at a grocery store or something, you know. But yeah, to do what I've gotten to do has been pretty special.
I want to ask specifically, just because I want to get that feeling myself and live vicariously through you, the moments before you take the stage and open that venue, because we know the way he sells out the largest, the biggest, the grandest venues. Take us through what's going in through your brain, the 5-10 seconds right before lights come on, your show starts.
Yeah, you know, just you're obviously a little anxious and you're excited and a little nervous and all that. But I honestly, I try to think about why I shouldn't be, which is just keeping it in perspective. As amazing and as incredible as it is, the real things that matter are, you know, I'm healthy, my family's healthy, you know, we're blessed, you know, all those things. That's what keeps you kind of, for me at least, keeps me from getting too amped and too, you know, where I can't go out there and just be myself, you know, because that's the best advice he ever gave me. Just go out there and be yourself. And that's how I think people relate to you and connect to you. Just talk to them. And if you're a nervous wreck and you're too amped up, it's hard to slow down and just take in the moment. So that's really what I think about.
It is. It's that deep breath in. And I've actually started to learn to do that, like on important, like tee shots that matter to me on the golf course. As lame as that sounds.
No, I do the same thing.
Center and just
I
bring it all back in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, if you're doing it there, it's working for you too.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Let's talk about the process of writing, because when I started researching to interview you, there's a lot of background on your writing specific to your process. I'm curious, does that happen a lot while you're on the road, or do you keep that separate? Shows on the road versus writing time in the studio?
It's kind of unpredictable as far as like ideas for songs and stuff. I mean, I could be talking to you and you could say something and I'll go, man, that'd be a cool song. You know, you just never know when it's going to hit, or you might think of something or see something. It's kind of just totally sporadic or random. But yeah, I don't really write on the road usually. I try to keep everything separate just because it keeps it where it's not, you don't get too like burn out on one thing, you know?
Got it. Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's funny. We had another really cool musical guest on the past on lead singer of Train, Pat Monahan.
Oh yeah.
And
that's awesome.
He talked about an interesting songwriting moment where he wrote a song in his newest album called Betting on Me. And it was about a game of wolf on the golf course he was playing.
Really?
Have you ever gotten inspiration on the golf course for a lyric or a song at all?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I have. Yeah. I can't necessarily pinpoint an exact like title or anything, but yeah, I'm sure I have.
I was just curious. That always stuck out to me. So I was wondering if that ever if things flow through your brain on the 10th tee for some reason.
Yeah, I'm sure I have thought of some lines and stuff. Yeah.
It's Mitch Rossell again joining us here. Check out his music, his website, YouTube as well too, because you got some unbelievable visuals. We'll get to that in a moment, but I want to first talk about my favorite song that I heard was All I Need to See.
Oh, thanks, man.
Because when I heard that song, it reminded me about my wife and knowing that I'm completely comfortable being with her forever. And that really is all I need to see.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there was probably some sort of similar inspiration, but where'd that song come from?
Yeah. It's funny. That song, it was written about 2 months into dating my wife. And I didn't even know her I didn't even know her that well yet. I wasn't saying, oh, I'm going to marry this girl yet. I mean, I thought it was a possibility, but as a songwriter, you're just really inspired when you're, we have a joke in town. If one of our buddies is, getting a new relationship or going through a divorce or whatever, it's like, hey man, you got time to write, because they're going to be ready, primed with some good ideas. Yeah. They're all amped, And so I was in that mode and I just sat down one night by myself and wrote that song. And, I tell people it's one of my favorites, number one, because it's really done so well. And it was like my first single, but the main reason is because it was like prophecy. Like it became my life with my wife. And I didn't have any of those experiences yet.
Right.
But it's like we've lived those things now, and it's really cool for me.
Nice early call by you on that. You just felt that in your bones.
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And let's get to what just came out as well too. You just had a really cool release and a really emotional video behind the song "Sun." I had to watch the video a couple times before I actually really listened to the song and heard the lyrics, because the video just struck me so much visually. But obviously, that's telling the story of your father and finding your dad again. What was that process like creating that? I'm sure that it was very therapeutic in some aspects.
It was, right? Yeah. It was painful in a lot of ways, and it was very therapeutic in a lot of ways. I think I'd kind of just buried a lot of that stuff because it is painful. And when I had my first son, it just it's a love it's just undefinable. It's just so deep, and I think it allowed me to kind of talk about a lot of those things that happened to me when I was a kid with my dad and him passing. And so it's just really a special song for me. It's my most personal and favorite song I've ever written, for sure. Very intimidating to put it out because it's so exposing.
It's
it's very vulnerable, and talks about how I lost my dad and what happened and how close we were and all those things. So really, really proud of it though.
But the great part and the positive spin on this is the awesome side by sides you do of seeing the activities you do with your dad and now you do with your son. It's that full circle moment in life. Right?
Oh yeah, man. It really is. It's been really special for me just to even see those things, because I didn't realize it until I went back and watched a lot of those home videos.
They look identical too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you guys look just like each other.
Yeah. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
Mitch Rossell again joining us. Be sure to check out MitchRossell.com, Mitch_Rossell on Instagram is where we'll follow him. Let's get to another really cool moment from your career, because every country music singer has the Opry as a landmark venue for sure. Your debut there on hallowed ground in country music. What was that experience like for you?
Surreal. Again, surreal. Yeah. I mean, it would have been surreal even without the introduction that I got. I'm sure you saw that. But the Opry is a very special place. There's an energy in there. I'm a big country music fan. I mean, I know the history of country music, and I appreciate it.
Country music to know the history of the Opry.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm very, very sensitive to everything in that building, and it's unbelievable walking through the halls and just seeing all the pictures and the history in this room, and obviously the circle is insane. I mean, I've had chances to step in it before, but I didn't want to until I was actually going to play. Yep. And so that was pretty special. And then to have, I was standing side stage about to be announced, and I was already, emotional and just trying to kind of control myself. And then they announced Garth. He surprised me and came out and introduced me. And I almost completely lost it. I knew that if I lost it, I would never recover.
Yeah.
And so I was like, there's video of me.
The guy that lost it, of course.
Oh, there's video of me, and I'm just like in my head, I'm going, okay, breathe. And I'm just like wiping my face, and I'm like, oh God, please do not. If it starts, I'll never be able to get out a word. You know what I mean? Like it would just be over. So yeah.
Very cool. I want to hear a little bit about like golf scene in Nashville as well too. I know I see a lot of different country artists that play there in the area, but what's it like for you? Do you get out a lot in that area?
Yeah, as much as I can. It's kind of sporadic, If I'm on the road, I like with what I do. It's like, man, there can just be gauntlets of weeks where you don't even get to breathe. And there's a week maybe where you only have a couple days that you're really busy. So you play 3 days that week, and then the next week you don't play at all or whatever. So I try to get out as much as I can. It's my only hobby really. And when you have 3 kids and a career that I have, you can only have one hobby probably. Barely can have that. But yeah, it's anytime I get time and the weather's decent, I get out there.
I keep seeing a lot about this Troubadour. Have you played Troubadour before?
I have, yeah, a few times.
So that course is elite to me because I've seen some content out there. They've got like an elite snack shack. There's like fire pits all over the place. Just describe the vibe of that place for people who haven't been there before.
Yeah, so Discovery properties in general are all like that. They're great golf courses, but the story of those is definitely the hospitality, man. I mean, you go in these, they have different names for them, but they're just comfort stations is basically what they are. And everything is just get what you want. You don't pay for any of it. It's all part of the membership, part of the fee. Yeah. But dude, it's like wall to wall to wall, anything you can think of, food, snacks, ice cream, liquor, beer.
So overwhelming. It's like, do I just take 2 or 3
things? There's like 5 different types of water and
things. I don't know.
Fresh fruit and jerky and freaking, I mean, you name it, dude. It's in there. It's awesome.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's legit.
Very cool. In or out on Nashville hot chicken?
It depends on where you go. Yeah. I'm in
places. What? Prince's,
Hattie B's. Prince's, Hattie B's. Those are some of the more like well known. There's some other really good ones. And then for me, it's all about like the balance of not making them too. I've had some that were a little too like salty or a little too. You just got to get the perfect amount of everything in there. Yep. And actually had some with waffles one time, and that was really good.
Okay,
that sweet and hot. It was
absolutely.
It was pretty solid, man. Pretty solid. Yes.
Yeah. And we always end with our 19th hole question, so good segue. When you get in at the end of a long round on the course, you get into the clubhouse. What's your go-to order? Your favorite meal and drink to order at the 19th hole?
Oh, dude. Man, probably just some grilled tenders and fruit, and then I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy as far as if I'm gonna have a real drink, or I'll have like a Budweiser or something like that.
Good healthy mix. You got
Eat healthy and then have a drink or whatever, or just water. It depends on the day.
Love it. Awesome.
So yeah,
Mitch, thank you so much for hopping on the Course of Life again. A pleasure listening to your music, getting to know you, and we'll be connecting down the line for sure.
Alex, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.